I really enjoy this image of this butterfly and this flower right here. It's really, really kind of nice. But we're starting out with this, and as you can see, the butterfly is a little bit on the soft side. So I started out in Lightroom. I'm going to show you everything I did in Lightroom, did a crop in this image, and sent it into Photoshop and ran Topaz Sharpen AI on it to denoise it and also to sharpen it up. Then I sent it into Topaz Mask AI, and I end up with this image here. And I also use some Topaz Studio 2 to add a little extra detail to the flower and the butterfly here, so we end up with this image. I'm going to show you everything I did to get to this point. So without any further ado, let's get started. We're going to start out here in Lightroom. The first thing I did was I did a crop. I'll just show you my crop. So there's my crop there. I just straightened up the flower a little bit. So I cropped it. And secondly, let's go to the basic panel here. Now, I always like to start out by clicking the auto. Let's see what Lightroom can do with the auto setting on here. Ooh, that doesn't look so good. Okay, so I'm just going to undo that and let me adjust this by hand. And let's see, maybe a little bit of contrast. Let's pull our highlights back a little bit. Maybe I'll open up the shadows. Yeah. And if you shift and click double click whites, it'll set a white point. Okay, so it does set the white point there. Shift double click blacks, it'll set the black point. So there's the black point. And let's see, how about a little more exposure? Yeah, maybe a little bit more exposure. I'm not going to play with texture or clarity yet because I'm doing no sharpening. So if we come down here to detail, you'll notice I have my sharpening is turned off. My noise reduction is turned off. I'm going to use, I'll probably use Sharpen AI to do the noise reduction and the sharpening because this image was shot at ISO 125, so it's a relatively low ISO. So if I zoom in here, you can see that's 2:1. Let's zoom into 3:1. Yeah, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of noise in there, so I think we're going to be okay there. And let's see, let's go to lens corrections. I have my remove chromatic aberrations checked and enable profile corrections checked. I always do that. Now I'm just going to right click and send this into Photoshop 2020. Now that we're in Photoshop, I'm just going to duplicate the background layer, and let's go ahead and send this into Topaz Sharpen AI, and we'll go ahead and sharpen it. I'm using the side-by-side view, but you could change it right here. You could do single, split, or side-by-side. I'm using side-by-side. Let's just move our navigator over the butterfly, because that's the area or the part of the image that we definitely want to be in sharp focus. And don't forget, this is a very low ISO, so we're going to let Sharpen AI do the noise reduction as well. I have the auto update preview set on here. Let's put it in the auto mode. Let's start out with the sharpen model and see what kind of a result we get. And so that is the sharpen result right there. And let's go to stabilize and see what we get here on stabilize. And then we'll try focus as well. I like to try all of them. So that's stabilize. That's looking, it definitely looks sharper. Let's try focus. And that's the focus, and that looks good too. So let's compare focus, stabilize, and sharpen. So there's focus. Now it's on the auto setting. We can change it if we need to. That's focus. Here's stabilize. Okay, and here is sharpen. Okay, so sharpen definitely is the worst of the three. It's between stabilize and focus. So there's stabilize, and here is focus. All right, there's focus. I'm really studying it here. I think I'm going to go with stabilize. Now let's go to manual and give it a little bit more sharpness. Let's bump that up and give it another shot. Yeah, the butterfly looks really sharp, and this flower here looks good. I'm really happy with that. I think stabilize is the way to go. And our noise is totally removed, so I'm happy. Let's just click apply and send it back into Photoshop. Let's go ahead and zoom into this image here and take a look. Okay, and here is before Sharpen AI, and here is after. Isn't that amazing? And look at the noise reduction. Again, the noise in there, you can really, if I zoom way in, you can really see that noise. Now check it after the Sharpen AI. So as you can see, Sharpen AI is very effective at getting noise out, especially really if it's a low ISO image. I don't really recommend it on high ISO. For high ISO, definitely use Topaz Denoise AI. I went ahead and added a new layer called Mask AI because I want to send this into Mask AI and blur out this background some more. And then I also renamed the layer under it to Denoise AI because that was the layer that we added the denoising to. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and launch Topaz Mask AI and do the masking job. Okay, here we are in Mask AI. Now you have this icon right here for auto detect subjects and auto detect skies. I don't think it's going to work, but let's try auto detect subjects. Okay, it's trying to get the butterfly here, but it's not getting the flower. I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to use my brush and just kind of paint around the area I want to keep, which is the flower and the butterfly. Now this is called the compute brush, and it's blue. And this is what Mask AI will use to make its computation, the blue areas. And then the green areas are the keep areas, and that's what Mask AI will keep. And then I'll fill all the areas that are not the flower with red. I'll use a red paint bucket to do that, and that'll be the cut area. So it works with a system called a trimap, which is a compute, a keep, and a cut. All right, so I'm just going to finish painting around here, and then we'll go ahead and run the compute on it. And you have two different modes of compute. You have contrast, and you also have AI for artificial intelligence. I generally use the artificial intelligence. Let's try that and see what we get. So all I have to do is make sure artificial intelligence is selected, which it is, and click compute mask. Oh, I didn't do my trimap, and it gives you a warning, and I'm glad I have made this mistake. I'll just say, okay, trimap not complete, because I have to use the bucket here and fill this area out here. That's the area I want to cut, and now I'll click on compute mask. Oh well, I make mistakes all the time. I'm sure you do too, right? We all make mistakes. We're human. Okay, and there it is. And next what I want to do is go to background. So click on background and click on blur. I love this blur tool. We're going to work with the blurring here in a second, and it's already has a 33 amount of 33 blur. I don't know if that stands for pixels or what, but let's say 33. Anyway, the left image is in the trimap mode still. So if I click right here where it says show trimap, you'll see the actual image itself. Now let's go ahead and zoom in and really examine our flower here. And see if there's any areas it missed. Okay, so looks all good around the stem here. Hey, let me know if you find an area I missed. Or it missed, I should say. Okay, so we're going to look back through here. Everything looks good back through here on the butterfly itself. Yeah, that all looks good. It missed a little spot right here. So let's go back to mask. And let's get a keep brush. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to paint right over here and see what it does. Okay, and it fills it right in, right there. I think we're good. It might have missed a little bit of the antenna, so I'm going to make that brush a little bit, or a lot smaller, and just paint over that antenna right there. Okay, and then it missed a little spot right here, so what I have to do is change it to a red brush, and then we're going to paint that out. So I'm just going to use the shortcut E to do that, and as you can see, it goes away, and there's a little spot right there. Let's get that. Okay, and here's the spot here of the flower it missed right here. So let's go. I'm going to use the shortcut W for the keep brush and get right here. And then it missed a spot right there. Sometimes you'll fix one spot and then another spot will go bad, and that looks good. So let's go ahead and zoom out here. I'm going to zoom out, and let's go to a single image. So let's click on this icon right here to show one window. And let us go, see where the little apple is here. Let's click this right here and let's go to keep. So now we can actually see the blur. And now let's make this a little bit larger. Now we can go ahead here and go back to background. So click on background. Now let's play with the strength here a little bit. So that's the 33. Let's increase that strength. And I'm going to go, I generally don't go up with a whole lot of blur here, but I think on this image I can go up. And I might even go the whole way up to 100 here. I like it. What do you think? Now, if we come up to this apple again, the red apple, let's click this and we can go back to the original. And there's the original. And here it is with the blur when I click on keep. I like it. I think it looks really good. Now, all we need to do is click apply. Oh, before I do that, I just want to point out, if you wanted to darken that background up a little bit, because you have, see where it says adjust here, background. If you click this drop down, you can do background or foreground. So we can go to the background and say, let's pull that exposure back a little bit like that if we wanted to just darken up the background. And I might just do that, just darken it up a little bit. And we can play with the contrast. And of course the saturation, we could even, pull the saturation back if we wanted to. But I like the saturation right where it was, so we'll put it back to 0. And we could change the tint if we wanted, the temperature. And we have blacks and whites we can work with in shadows, but I like it. But I think maybe just that slightly underexposed might be good. Maybe right there. I think that looks nice. So let's just click apply. And after we click apply, we're given two choices. We could send it back as a composite or a transparent. So let's go ahead and click composite, and that'll send it back with a blurred background. So let's click on composite. And now we're back in Photoshop. So here's the before and here's the after. I think it's a nice change. I love the blurry background. There's a couple little spots on the flower I'd like to fix. See right here, there's a little white spot here and a little white spot here. So I'm just going to get a blank pixel layer, come down here, see the little plus here, click that, puts a blank pixel layer there. I'm going to get my healing brush, and shortcut is J for that. And I'm just going to go ahead and heal these little spots up because I want my flowers to look really beautiful. Hey, sometimes nature's a little hard on them, and I like to pretty them up, give them a little bit of makeup. There's like a little dot on my butterfly here. I'm going to get rid of that as well. But there you go. I think that's beautiful. Now we just have to decide what we want to do next. So what I think I'll do is I'll take this layer right here, right click it, and click on merge down. That'll merge that layer down. I always like to do my healing on a blank pixel layer. It just in case something goes wrong, I don't work on the actual pixel layer itself. And then if I'm happy, I'll merge down. Oh, by the way, when I was using the healing brush, I had this sample all layers checked. That's very important to have that checked on when you're working on a blank pixel layer. So next, I think I'm going to send this into Topaz Studio 2, and I might just bring out a little bit of detail on the butterfly here and a little bit on the flower, maybe just a little bit, but mainly the butterfly. I just want to pull out some extra sharpness on the butterfly itself. It's already very sharp, but I just want to draw my viewer's attention into that butterfly. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and duplicate this background layer. And now let's call this one TS2 for Topaz Studio 2. And next we'll go ahead and launch Topaz Studio 2. There's two different filters I like to use in Topaz Studio 2 for adding detail. Mainly it's the precision detail, and sometimes I work with precision contrast as well, but I think I'm going to try precision detail here. Now I love this filter because you have overall details, you have shadow details that you can work with, and you can work with just highlight details. So let's start out with overall details. Now we're mainly looking at the butterfly. The entire effect will go over the entire image. And I could do some masking inside of Topaz Studio 2, but I think I'm going to save that for Photoshop just to show you there's more ways that you can work than just one. I love the masking in Topaz Studio 2, but I want to show you something a little different today. So let's take the overall small detail and start to pull it up, just mainly looking at the butterfly itself. Just want to pull out a little bit of detail there. Let's try the medium detail. Don't want to go too crazy. I just want to get a little bit here. Let's try the large detail. Okay. Now again, I'm just looking at the butterfly. I'm looking at the edges over here. I think that looks really cool. And let's look at the flower itself. Okay. And next, let's play, there's some lights in here, so I'm going to go with the highlights and see if I can pull some detail out of those lighter areas in there. Yeah, I can get a little bit of that. I don't want to go too crazy there, but just a little bit on the lights. Let's try the medium. Again, I don't want to go too nuts there, but just a little tiny wee bit. Now I'm going to left click my mouse and hold my left click down. And you'll see there's the before and there's the after. The before and the after. All right. And I'm happy with that. Now all I need to do is click accept, and that'll bring us right back into Photoshop. And now for some layer masking. Let's go ahead and put a hide all layer mask on this layer here. So I'm going to hold the Alt or the Option key down and click on the layer mask here. And that'll put a black layer mask on there, which will hide the adjustment. Now I'm going to get a brush, and B is a shortcut for the brush for all of those of you who like shortcuts. I always like to let you know what they are because they will make your life a lot more enjoyable because you can get to things quicker. So I have my opacity at 100%, my flow at 20%. That just means at 20% I have to brush more to build up the adjustment. So I'm going to start painting on this butterfly here, and then I'll work on the flower second. But I'm going to make sure I'm painting with white paint, and I'm just going to start to paint some detail. Now the more I paint over this, the more detail will pop in. And I'm just going to go over certain strategic areas where I think I want this butterfly to be sharpened up a bit. But that flow is nice because that lets me work it up slowly. So the more I paint, the sharper it will get. Okay. And I'm going to make my brush a little smaller and come out over this antennae right here. Nice. And now I think what I might do is take my opacity and take it down to about like 40%. I'm just typing the 4 key. That'll go to 40%. Make my brush a little bit larger, and I don't want to put as much detail, but I want to just pull a little bit of detail. It's a delicate flower, so I don't want to go overboard on it. I just want to, areas that are sharp, I just want to show a little bit of extra detail just to draw my viewer into the flower. I don't want to go too crazy. Now here is the before, the detail, and here is the after. And I'm really happy with that. Now for me, what I could do is, because I'm done with the image, I can right click here, and this is what I generally do if I'm happy with it, and click flatten image, okay? Or else I could just come up here to file and say file, save. And that'll just save it. Remember, I started in Lightroom. When I go back to Lightroom, it'll be saved with the layers intact. Or if I flatten it, it'll be saved as a flattened image. And I generally flatten my images just to save storage space on my hard drive. So I'm going to right click this and click flatten. And then I'm going to come up here to file and click on save. And you can see it saving down there. Now when I go over to Lightroom, you'll see that the file will be there. Now let's go over to Lightroom. So here we are in Lightroom. So here's our image found in Lightroom, and here's the original. There's the original, and this is after Photoshop with some Topaz blurring out the background, and I think it looks really nice. Now we can, if we wanted to, we could compare these two images together. I'm just going to select them both and make sure I'm in library, in the library module, and click on this icon right here. And now we can see the two images side by side. And so I think you'll agree with me that the blurred background really adds a nice finishing touch to this image. I'm really happy with it. The more I play with that blurred background feature, the more I really like it using Topaz Mask AI. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. Then every time I upload a new tutorial, you will be notified about it.